Hello and welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Liz, a disability policy for all. Today I have the very good fortunate to be interviewing Liz King, who is the Senior Policy Analyst and Director of Education Policy at the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights about Race and Disability. AUCG is a proud member of the Leadership Conference as well as the Consortium for Citizens with Disability. We enjoy working alongside you. So welcome, Liz.
Thanks, Liz. It's great to be here.
The first question is, can you help our audience understand the intersection of disability rights with other civil rights?
Of course. So first of all, as you know, disability rights are civil rights. And we know that in American history, people with disabilities have faced similar barriers to economic inclusion, education, housing, employment, as have people with and without disabilities who are of color, who are religious minorities, who are women, who are LGBTQ. So we see the relationship between disability policy and disability rights as being part of the larger agenda for civil and human rights so that everyone has the opportunity to live their life free from discrimination. We also know that people with disabilities may also be people of color, they may be religious minorities, they may be LGBTQ, women, girls, or other people who experience marginalization on the basis of their identity. So we see the full diversity of all of our communities in the civil and human rights community reflected in the disability community.
Thank you. If our country was built on the idea of everyone is created equally, why are people with disability and people of color are not treated equally?
So at the Leadership Conference, we talk about trying to create an America as good as its ideals, because the founding ideals that were written on paper were about inclusion and respect and diversity and opportunity and individual self-determination. But we have seen policies over the centuries that have excluded people with disabilities and people of color with disabilities from access to the institutions that our country provides. So we have seen people with disabilities fight for access to education. We have seen people of color fight for access to schools. It's hard to say what the root of this is. It's a combination of individual sentiments that people might hold that allow them to feel discriminatorily towards other people, as well as institutions that are not welcoming.
Thank you. There has been a lot to talk about white supremacy. What does that mean, and why is it in the news right now?
So a lot of people are talking about white supremacists in a way they were not before because of the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville. And we saw there people who rallied with torches in support of an ideology that says that white people are better than people of color. And that same ideology creates an environment of exclusion and hostility towards all people. We also saw violence at that rally, specifically the death of one young woman, and that reinforces the violent nature of that ideology. But it's important to remember the white supremacy isn't just about torches and it isn't just about rallies, but it's also about policy and institutions. And we all have work to do to make sure that that policy agenda is stopped and that we value the inclusive diversity that our country has to offer.
Thank you. And if you have any more questions about this or any other policy issues, please go to the AUCG webpage and look for this week's In Brief. If you have any questions or comments about this week's Tuesdays with Liz, please leave them in the space below. Thank you and have a nice day.